Good morning, everybody. What is going on? Episode 98 of the South Florida Gamers Podcast. We are literally, two more episodes away from the big 100. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it has.
It definitely has. And, of course, across the table from me is none other than my co-host, Waluigi.
Good morning, my dudes. Happy to be here. Glad that we had to recap last episode, and now we're getting to more gaming topics. We had a lot more topics going on. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, because there's a lot more things happening in gaming. So, of course, it just gives us more content for us to work with, to discuss with people, get people's thoughts, especially if they're on.
Oh, exactly.
Getting it from the chat live, or if it's through some of the shorts or reels or clips that we would put on social media, so that way we keep the conversation going and whatnot, whether it's on the podcast live or off the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. We talked about the Summer Games Fest briefly, all the games listing and why games are so expensive and why the whole PlayStation such, and now we got some upcoming topics.
Yeah, and definitely the first one that I do want to talk to not just you, but with everyone, is this one in particular, as you guys seen in the headline, and that is Capcom considering shifting away from $70 price after moderate response. So off the bat, just the title, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I think the reason is why is not a lot of people are buying $70 games. If anything, they're just waiting for that $70 game just to go on sale, because if it doesn't meet the
demands of the players and the standards that most people have.
Right, if it doesn't meet the sale expectations, then it's just now we're gonna have to cut the price down so that way more people are able to buy it. But I would say overall, not every game is worth $70.
No, it isn't.
Because the fact that, it's on the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X or S, or however you want to differentiate the two. And of course, PC gamers, they're not going to buy the game at $70. They're going to find a way to buy it as cheap as possible.
Yeah,
but
G2A, CD keys, the list can go on.
Yeah, and with that, I would say people are just waiting for sales, because
always
a lot of people nowadays have huge gaming backlogs ever since the PS3 era. And you look at the PS4 era, there was lots of gaming sales. You literally have a gaming sale on the PlayStation Store literally every month. There's something going on for sale. So it begs the question, is it even worth buying this game day one at $70? Certain games, sure. I know I bought Elden Ring. I think I bought Elden Ring for about $70, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe, no, I bought the collector's edition because I wanted the Millennia statue. I bought the collector's edition.
Of
I was
course you did.
Yeah. But other games that I would say I bought at $70. Street Fighter, no, not Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat 1 was at $70, but that game is not. It's not worth $70.
Yeah, I got the early release. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, you and I, we can both attest to it. Since we've played the game competitively, it is not worth $70. For what it's offering, it's not worth $70. No. They could have just kept that game at $60 just to keep it cheap.
That's true. And if it's a $50 game, I can understand that. But for what we paid for, it's not even worth it. Just for the early release and for the training, for the online. When most characters released, most people can't play it until the character is released at the same exact day.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense, but still, there was Mortal Kombat. What else other games weren't worth it back then? I feel like there's a small list, but it's not much. I feel like Street Fighter is definitely worth it.
Yeah, because Street Fighter actually released at $60.
Yes.
Because it was both on the PS5 and the PS4 as well. Even though I feel like they should have just cut support off for the PS4, just start going into next gen. But I get it, whatever. You want to... Because there's a huge demographic of gamers that are still on the PS4 that have not migrated to the PS5 yet.
Or that can't just yet, so soon. Well, not soon. They just don't want to.
That too. And I also feel like, as I said in the previous episode, that I don't think the PS5 is completely worth it, because if you really look at the PS5 and what it has to offer, to me, it's like a PS4 Pro 2.0.
Yeah, we thought it was the greatest thing until we started seeing the releases.
Yeah.
All the exclusives that are now universal for the most part,
Yeah.
which is kind of dreading.
Yeah. Now, granted, they are starting to cut back on releasing games, like first party games, on the PlayStation 4. Like, all right, we're completely axing this. If you want to play our new first party games, you got to get it on the PS5, which is the route that you want to go. But even still to this day, we're still getting games, new games, that are just going to be on the PS5 and the PS4. I mean, make your money.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking that, but it just goes to show that not a lot of people are super hype or super exuberant about buying games at $70. You're better off buying it at $60, and then if the DLC and the content is worth it, then okay, then you make more of your money, later down the road as the developer, as a publisher.
Exactly. Because I feel like Resident Evil, like the remakes haven't been really well known. I mean, they're iconically known. Like you could make money off of Resident Evil 4 easily.
Yeah,
I don't see it worth $70.
yeah,
Resident Evil 2 was probably the worst Resident Evil like remake because of how quick it was. Because I think the fastest you can run it is like 3 hours.
oh wow,
I believe 3 hours. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can call me out. I'll take any criticism. But Resident Evil 1 wasn't that bad. Resident Evil 3, I think it was decent. It was between Resident Evil 2 or 3. I could be incorrect. Resident Evil 5, I hope they do a remake, and I hope it's actually good. Because that game is like a full 8 to 10 hours.
yeah.
Unless you grind it very hard, like someone like myself. I hope they don't remake Resident Evil 6 and charge $70. That would be a ripoff. That's a $20 game straight up.
Yeah.
With the new Monster Hunter releasing, I do not think it's going to be $70.
Yeah, I think they're gonna want to keep it cheap and keep it at $60 because Monster Hunter in itself that game has hours and hours upon content, and yeah, it's one of those games where you're gonna sit and grind like a lot. I think close to 300 hours in Monster Hunter World on the PS4, and
I had 30 minutes.
man, you're missing out, dude.
I know. I had someone that I was talking to briefly get me into it. I'm like, you know what? This sucks. But I think it was just a tutorial how long it was.
Yeah, like I've also had friends that also played it with me as well, and we would all play together, and they would die a lot to just some of the certain enemies. But once you understand the weapon that you're using, the move set, and how you can play with it, then hunting monsters will be a lot more effective for you. So for me, I started off in Monster Hunter World. I know I'm going off a topic, but don't worry, we're gonna come right back to topic, y'all. So bear with us. But I started off with the bow because it's short range, long range projectile. I could just use. It was very easy to use. Then I went with the insect glaive. I was having fun with that. Then I was like, you know what? I want to experiment with the switch axe. I was having stupid fun with that. Then I went with the great sword. Love it. Then long sword. And yeah, I bounce around with different weapons in Monster Hunter World, but overall it's a great fun game. I definitely recommend it. I have not played Rise, and by the time Monster Hunter World Rise came out for the PlayStation, it was like I've already moved on because Monster Hunter World Rise was a time exclusive on the Switch. So by the time it came to the PS4, it was already too late. I'm on the PS5 already. I'm already playing different games.
It's pointless.
But other than that, back to the topic at hand, which put it back on desktop. So we're gonna go ahead and go through this article real quick. And pretty much development costs in the gaming industry have surged in the recent years due to inflation and increasing resources required. Rising costs have compelled developers to raise game prices from $60 to $70, a change that fans have not been too happy with. As I said before, not everyone is going to rush out and go and buy a game for $70. Not everyone's going to do that due to the fact that people have backlogs that they can just fall back on for the time being. They have other games that, like free-to-play games like Warzone, Fortnite, Apex Legends, so on and so forth, that they can fall back on. Backlogs, free-to-play games that people just fall back on just to save money. And then by the time that $70 game goes on sale, and it's on sale for about $60, that's when you start seeing that surge in revenue going up. But to continue,
Yeah, they have a whole list of franchises and such, and they just seem to be fumbling with the same stuff.
yeah, Capcom disclosed during a Q&A session that its first $70 AAA launch, Dragon Dogma 2, received a moderate reception from players. Why it matters? It's pretty evident that consumers generally dislike price hikes, but developers need to remain profitable to continue producing high-quality games, making such increases necessary, which I'm not against. It makes sense because if you want us to continue to keep producing these high quality games, then yeah, the price is gonna go up. But as I said before, with gamers, they're not so reluctant to going out there and buying a game for $70. They're just, if anything, we're more skeptical now. And I think the best way to guarantee you to get a game, or not to get a game, but to buy a game at $70, like if there's a beta or a demo that gamers can play before the game releases, then that can definitely be the game changer of whether or not, hey, is my game going to sell a lot or not? Because Dragon Dogma 2 did have like somewhat of it wasn't a demo or a beta. It was pretty much a character creation like mode where you can just create your character, and if that's the character that you like, then this is the created character that you'll use when the full game comes out. But it wasn't the demo of the actual game. So people are skeptical versus with Stellar Blade, as I remember, Stellar Blade had a demo, and people played the hell out of that demo for hours, and that's what led to the game to have such a great success during its launch. And that was a $70 game.
That's true. I didn't think about it like that. I feel like with betas, releases, pre-betas, or at least more game demonstration, you'll get the attention of other people. But if you just show a game trailer, then hey, this is the release of the game, good luck. Not many people are going to have faith.
Yeah.
Not anymore, at least, from what I can think of.
Yeah, because people are skeptical and they don't know how the game's going to play. They don't know if the game has good performance or if how the gameplay feels. People want to be able to try out the game so that way they can make the decision of whether or not, hey, do I want to buy this game or do I just want to nah, I'm not feeling it, or I don't want to take the risk. Like Rise of the Ronin, that didn't have a beta, but since I know it's behind the same people that made Neo 1 and 2, what was the other one? The name escapes me. Wolong, Fallen Dynasty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like since I know the gaming company behind Rise of the Ronin, I know that hey, this game's gonna be a solid game and it's gonna be a good game, even though it's $70. I know it's gonna be a good game because of this game developer's track record, and I can feel confident with my purchase. So bought Rise of the Ronin because that game and Dragon Dogma 2 came out on the same day. So you have two really solid games coming out on the same day, both at $70. You try to buy them both, that's $140.
Yeah, that's like jacking up your wallet, literally.
Yeah, literally. So
You're getting robbed for like quality games.
yeah, so people are gonna pick and choose. Like, I think I'm gonna go with this one, and I think that could have been one of the things that made Dragon Dogma 2 get like moderate reception, because people are trying to decide whether or not if they want to play Rise of Ronin, let's take a chance with that, or Dragon Dogma 2. Like I had my friends. I got Rise of the Ronin. They got Dragon Dogma 2. They love Dragon Dogma 2. They said that, hey, you're going to love this game. And I'm telling them, hey, you're going to love Rise of the Ronin.
And then the confliction is like, do I really want to buy another game for $70?
Yeah.
That's the ongoing confliction with most people.
And then I would tell them, like, hey, if you're able to get the game for a little bit cheap, hey, get it for a little bit cheap. But the game is definitely worth it. Rise of the Ronin, I've spent, over 70 hours in that game. It's a good game, solid game. You'll love it, enjoy it. And I know I'm gonna have the same enjoyment when I do finally get a chance to buy and play Dragon Dogma 2.
Well said.
Yeah. So back to the article. Let me scroll down. Oh boy. Okay. Now it's working. Capcom also discussed pricing for future games. Regarding pricing for future game release, we will determine prices after carefully assessing user response and considering the rising cost of development. Trying to scroll down, but I'm a bit far away from the desktop, so bear with me, y'all. Dragon Dogma 2 sold over 2.5 million copies in its launch and exceeded 3 million by late May.
Wow.
The game was also Capcom's biggest Steam launch. However, the team does not seem satisfied with these figures. This suggests Capcom might not entirely shift to $70 games as believed previously. The publisher could potentially maintain the traditional $60 price point or find another middle ground. Capcom's president Haruhiro Tsuji I'm butchering that name. Previously mentioned that game prices are too low relative to development costs. Nothing that these costs are about 100 times higher than during the NES era. However, evidence has already proven that the new $70 price tag has affected the gaming industry. Multiple people have voiced their opinions online, stating that they fear buying buying a $70 release due to concerns that the game will not deliver. And yeah, I've said that before, that some people just feel like they don't want to take the risk of buying a game at $70 because they're afraid that if I buy this game for $70, am I going to get my money's worth? Is this game going to deliver a really good gaming experience for me? Am I going to enjoy this game for hours at a time? Is the replay value of the game high?
Yeah, it is like way too high from what it sounds like. Man, had to let it out. Those prices are just coughing. Kidding. Anyways, yeah, was Tsujimoto mentioning that the game price is low for development because it takes a lot of work to make a game nowadays. Definitely not a joke. Like back then, we could imagine games being like $30, $40, and that's the span of what, 20 years?
Yeah.
I find that nutty. Like I missed the GameStop commercials, man. Am I the only one that misses the GameStop commercials where you just see really dumb advertisements that aren't related to the game? Like having Kratos' Chimera skin.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have like really dumb Halo ones. All for reasonable pricing. They don't tell you the price, but at least it shows you the offer straight up on a TV.
Right.
Or at least they don't show it in streaming services anymore. They just tell you, hey, straight up, this pre-order, you can read it now.
Right.
I found it super dumb.
FGC Gabe in the chat, shout out to you, says, that's why I love Helldivers 2. Great gameplay and only $40. Yep, that game was $40 at launch.
It's still worth it.
And that game had the biggest success in this year's gaming era. Like the biggest success. Like I was not thinking this game was gonna pop off the way that it did, but man,
it definitely proved its worth.
Yeah, it definitely did, to the point where for the first time, gamers were experiencing that, hey, I can't log into the game because the servers were over flooded. So many people are trying to log into the game, trying to play the game because like people are talking about Helldivers 2 of how fun and how enjoyable this game is, and it's only $40. That is what is needed in gaming. Is you're making a really fun and enjoyable game that caters to that demographic of people that just want to just have fun. They don't want to play a sweaty game, a sweaty competitive game, whether it's a MOBA, whether it's a first-person shooter, third-person shooter, or fighting games. It's just, hey, I just want to play a PvE game with my boys online and just have a good time. And that's what Helldivers did. Helldivers delivered on that.
Yeah, it's a very straightforward game with a simple plot and everything else. I love how we just shout out Helldivers every single podcast.
Yeah, because it's a great game. I mean, there's no denying about that. It is.
Notice us. Anyways. But yeah, it just seems nowadays I hope Capcom can have reasonable pricing for the game that it's worth.
Yeah.
Because you can do remakes all you want, but if they're $70, I'm not getting it.
Yeah, like if it's a remake or a remaster, like, bro, like, no.
The remake has to actually have more extension plot. Like Asura's Wrath. That game is one of the most banger games. It's like God of War with interactions.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't see a remake of it, I will lose my mind.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like we have not gotten a remake or a remastered of that game.
So I will accept it if it's $60 if it includes all the DLC that came with it.
Yeah.
Because there's the extended story. There's fighting with Dark Ryu. Then there's another one as well. But having that extended story, I never finished a game because of the real ending and everything. I got S rank and everything else, but that game is so fucking fun.
Oh yeah.
Simple plot, a lot of mythology and such for all the book nerds and such. It's definitely a game that's worth getting. I haven't played it in like over 12 years, 15 years, but it's still worth it.
Yeah.
And what else is another good bang? Like Devil May Cry is a good series. If they decide to make another one, that's
Yeah.
debatable if it's worth $70.
Yeah, because it all depends on how much are you going to add in the new sequel to 5. Like if they were to make a Devil May Cry 6, what are you going to add?
That hasn't been shown yet.
Yeah, and to me, I would say, please give us Sparta's story. Like, give us a story of
So you're looking for a prequel?
a prequel. It could be a prequel and a sequel to where half of it is Sparta's story, and then it just flows into the main story.
Because we don't see Sparta at all.
Unless he's mentioned.
That's the only time.
He's mentioned in most of the Devil May Cry games, and of course you could also play as him in Devil May Cry 3, but we've never gotten like his full story. Like, let us, experience that part where we get to play as him. He has all of his devil weapons and whatnot, and then there's the part where it just shifts into the actual day of. All right, a continuation. It's like a continuation of 5, but we're also getting Sparta's side story. Like, I would love to see that.
I forgot about you can play him in Devil May Cry 3.
Yeah.
Goddamn. I completely forgot about this existing. But yeah, I would like to see a story of that or a future past situation.
Right.
Like, why did he do this? What caused this? Like, it'd be a good story.
Right.
But sadly, Capcom may not go that far.
Depending, but with that, it's like it all depends on what you're gonna give to the gamers, and does it justify the cost? And I think if you really want people to be interested in playing a game that's gonna cost $70 at launch, you gotta at least release a demo or a beta, so that way people can get their hands on it, so that way we can actually see, hey, is this game actually worth buying at full price day one? If it's not, then at least people have made that decision on, okay, you know what, this game's not for me. I'm not saying it's a bad game, it's just not for me. I'm not going to buy it. But if people enjoy the beta or the demo a lot, then they're more inclined to buying the game at full price at launch.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Man, I hope Capcom gets their shit together, in all honesty.
I mean, they will. I mean, they're not in a bad place right now.
They aren't really. They want to present themselves as in a bad place.
Nah, I don't think so. I disagree.
It's like, oh, we're debating about our prices, and then they're just going to go back to like actually taking care of the people.
Which they have been doing. Like
which is good.
Yeah, because Resident Evil 8 sold very well,
yes.
And I think that was a $60 game. That was a $60 game, and it was available on both PS5 and PS4. The remakes, as you said before, like they need to be $60. Like if it's a remake or a remaster, it needs to be $60, not $70. Because the fact that if people have already played it on previous gen, they already know the story already. So why try to sell us the same story with just better graphics, better sound, and whatnot? Like, it's still the same story. Like,
yeah, that's true.
We know what's going to happen at the end. So it's like you're not doing anything different other than you're just updating and refreshing a couple of things.
The modding support is what most people look forward to anyways. Yeah. It's just really fucking stupid.
Yeah, like...
If you've seen the graphics of what people have done, it's just really insane.
Yeah.
I don't even want to mention half of them because I think we've talked about them in the past.
Because if you were to just remaster or remake a game that has already existed on a previous console, let's just say the PS4 or the PS3, and then you want to bring it to the PS5 and jack up the price all the way to $70, then you're just ripping people off. Hello, Naughty Dog.
We had to look to the camera directly.
Yeah, I had to because they know what they
They
did.
haven't made a good game in a while. Like
Because all they got is The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2.
I'm literally looking up when the last time like Naughty Dog made a game that isn't The Last of Us.
I'm surprised they did not do the same thing with Uncharted. Yet, maybe, don't know. But
So it's been 4 years since they last made part 2. It's literally been 4 years. Nothing else has changed.
because I heard rumors that they are going to do like a remaster of that game, but I'm just like, why?
It's
Why? When you could just play the PS4 version on
yeah,
the PS5.
they have The Last of Us Part 2 remastered already. It came out this year, or it's coming out this year.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, it already came out January 19th. It already happened.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a cash grab
Literally.
because they're literally selling you the same game on a previous gen console for $70 and saying that, oh, well, there's like 4K textures and all this other stuff. It's the same game.
They have Uncharted, they have Crash Bandicoot, they have Jack and Dexter. There's like so many opportunities. Uncharted, like even old games from like the 80s, like Dream Zone and such.
Like Crash Bandicoot, I think that's also Naughty Dog and Activision. So they may not be able to do that, which
Oh, that's true.
and Activision is owned under Microsoft, so that's one. But Jack and Daxter, like so many people have been asking and wanting a Jack and Daxter remaster, at least for new gen, current gen. But we know we're never gonna get that, no matter how many times we beg for it. So that's one. Uncharted, I can see them doing that with Uncharted and trying to rip off gamers by charging it $70. I'm just like, no, because you could get the Uncharted collection, which is 1, 2, and 3 on the PS4. Just play the PS4 version, and then Uncharted 4, and then I think Uncharted Lost Legacy. You play those on the PS4 version on the PS5. So you don't need to update a lot, or if you are going to update a lot, make it a free update so that way, hey, we already own the game. You don't need to charge us $70 to access the same game again with better visuals and better sound. I'm sorry, that's a fucking ripoff.
It really is. They could even check to get one of their RPGs back out from the 90s. I was looking at Ring of Power. I'm like, I've never heard of this game. They
Or
could,
at least come up with something new.
yeah, they could bring back older stuff from the 90s. Like most games, if you bring it back from the 90s, I see like a higher probability of purchasing. Like, hey, this looks like a game I can try out. $30 or $40. Mm-hmm. Since it's all the way back then, it's a remastered or a remake. Mm-hmm. I think that's a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed someone still has their original copies of Uncharted 1 through 3. I respect that, Pico. Also, good morning. What's up, Frank? I'm also catching up with the chat, too, but
Yeah.
still, there's a lot of developers that just keep remastering bullshit and just charging.
Yeah, insane amount of prices, and then they're wondering why people are not going out spending $70 on a game because it's like, what's the point? And if it's the same game that people have already played, like what 10, 15 years ago, then all you're doing is just doing a cash grab.
You're just reliving the moment, and if you do that, that's okay. But personally, I'm not a fan of it.
For me, it depends on which game.
Yeah, it has to depend on the game, and that's why I'm not judging as hard.
Yeah.
It's just slightly.
But let me go ahead and finish up with this article, and then we're gonna move on to our next topic. Oh boy, because I'm far away from the desktop, and this stupid receiver's not. Now I gotta get up and.
I'm just reading the article on my phone at this point.
Like, bro, it's not moving at all.
Oh wow, that bites. Okay, good. I saw the mouse move. Let's go. It doesn't really. It's just like the both perspectives are understandable, or this is why we are hoping.
All right. Continuing off, this wouldn't have been a big issue in the past, but since unfinished games and cash grabs have become such a trend recently, consumers are extra careful on the titles that they spend money on. Yes.
Yes.
We are extremely careful. That's why I said give us betas, give us demos, so that way we can try out the game before it releases, and then we can make we can make the educated decision on whether or not, hey, do we buy this game at the price that it's at, or do we wait for it until it goes on sale, or we don't buy it at all. Both perspectives are understandable. Consumers are cautious about their spending, while developers need revenue to cover the substantial cost of modern game development. This is why we are hoping for a solution that will maintain stability in the gaming industry and ensure balance, where both consumers and developers will be happy. It will be interesting to see how Capcom strategizes moving forward and what pricing model it will adopt in the future.
Ooh.
And that's it for that one.
Yeah, that's a whole hefty amount of process for Capcom.
Yeah, and I think they're going to get it right. They're going to figure it out because Capcom is one of the, it's a legacy publisher and developer or whatnot. So they're going to figure it out. And many people who know Capcom ever since back from the 90s, you already know Capcom has so many IPs under their belt.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so many IPs. So Capcom isn't going to go away. They're just going to have to figure out, all right, what can they do to find a middle ground so that way, one, they can make profit, and two, gamers are also happy and satisfied, which is why I think Monster Hunter Wild, that's going to do record numbers. That's $1 million seller right there, multi-million-dollar seller at that. Because Monster Hunter is very popular. It's becoming more popular, and more people are playing it. And I think that really kicked things off for them during the PS4, Xbox One era when Monster Hunter World came out, and it was good.
It was driving.
Yeah, it was good. It got a lot of people onto the game. People who've never played a Monster Hunter game, they'll tell you like, hey, that was my first one and I loved the game so much, and they like spent hours and hours playing the game, grinding the game, getting all these different armors, these different weapons and whatnot. So I think Capcom will find a way to find a middle ground. And then of course you already know when it comes to fighting games, Capcom got a lot of fighting games under their IP as well.
Oh yeah, they have bangers left and right, but they just like to keep things simple.
Yeah, because I think I forgot. I said it in someone's stream that if Capcom were to bring out Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 4.
If they bring that out, Disney has to approve of that. That's the sad part.
Yeah, but if that were to come out, Capcom could do that. A Capcom versus SNK 3.
You know that
And a new Darkstalkers.
Darkstalkers, that's been out since like 20 plus years ago. That is a high probability that if they do that,
Like if they really wanted to take over the fighting game industry,
they could.
They could. Capcom has the IPs, and they know that they will all sell over 1 million, easy.
Yeah, because Disney would have to approve Marvel vs. Capcom. That's the one flaw. Darkstalkers, I don't know why they still backed out of it. Mm-hmm. But everything else is just fair game.
Yeah.
They could just remake other like old school games and just keep things going. But I know like all the Darkstalker characters, or at least Morrigan and such, it has a grip on everybody, even though it's like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's not Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Oh no, no.
That pissed off so many people. I watched like the fighting game scene of it briefly, and that's the funniest thing.
Yeah, that game got rejected.
Like very early on, and that's a good thing. It makes things fair and balanced, at least for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, even though it's jank as it gets.
Hell, Capcom couldn't even do another Street Fighter Cross Tekken if they wanted.
So there's a probability that there's going to be a Capcom vs. SNK. It looks like it, because you're including Terry and Mai.
In Street Fighter 6.
And then possibly for KOF, you're going to have Street Fighter characters. Possibly. They say special characters. So that has to be like the basic three, like Ryu, Guile, and Chun. Or it could be Ryu, Ken, and then so forth.
Yeah.
It could either be all the Shotos. It could be a lot of possibilities. Nobody knows.
I think it'll be. I think if SNK were to do that, have guest characters for King of Fighters 15, I think it would be Ryu, Chun-Li, and maybe Guile.
That's the three basic ones, because you have Charge, you have Mix, and then you have Shoto. Mm-hmm. Because if you have Ryu and Ken, that just means it's the same Shoto.
Yeah.
Unless they do like a slash Ken, and it's just like a variation.
Right.
which I doubt. It's like how Smash has shadow characters, but that's not important.
And Frank says it's gonna be Luke, Jamie, Kim. I can see that.
You know, that's a good probability because that's
Yeah.
the new generation.
Yeah.
That would make sense to fit into the KOF universe.
Yeah.
Even though Luke isn't much of a charge character, Jamie has his mix or his. I don't know how they're going to do his drink gauge in this game because the game is really, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Kim with her spray makes sense as well. There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
They will we've debated that they're going to add Luke or they're going to add Ryu. I've talked about this with my homies before. Because Ken is a good staple, but Ryu is just like the icon.
Yeah.
Luke is the new icon, which I'm glad they started shifting it slowly to Luke itself.
Yeah.
So I say Luke is like a high probability.
Yeah.
Either Luke, Ryu, Chun-Li, or Guile, and then everybody else just varies. I feel like they have to add one villain in there. That villain would probably either be A, Akuma, or B, JP would be weird.
No, if you're gonna add a villain, especially an iconic villain, I would say Bison would be the one.
Bison or Akuma. One of those two will kick in. The one that would make the most sense, or at least playstyle, Sagat. Or Sagat.
Yeah.
However you say his name, but...
Yeah, because similar to how Tekken 7, they had not only Akuma, but they also had Geese Howard. Like prominent villains from a different fighting game universe. Like it would have to be a very well-known, prominent villain. So it could be, as you said, it could be Akuma, it could be Sagat, or Bison.
Yeah, JP would be the lowest probability, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Mainly because KOF is very creative with their combo inputs and how they do things.
Yeah.
And especially with a different mechanic in the game that's similar to Wild Assault and also Drive Rush. I hate to say it. But then you have more rolls and you have a lot more fluidity, fluid movements. It's possible.
Yeah.
Anyways, next to the next subject before we get carried away with
Oh, yeah, definitely. Our next subject is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero gameplay. That is our next subject. So a lot of gameplay of this game came out throughout the week. And I'm just going to say, as a person that grew up playing Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi, I think this game is the definitive version of all of those games. I think because the way how the fluidity of the game, the visuals, and then of course the gameplay is similar to the Budokai games that those of us who grew up playing Budokai Tenkaichi, it's very similar. Like this is the one true game that we've all waited and clamored for. And I'm excited for it. Like I've been watching nothing but nonstop gameplays of it, and I'm excited for it. My only pet peeve is the fact that when it comes to the character and their transformation, they have them separate. I'm just like, please, to the developers of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, please just adopt the character UI, the character select UI from Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Adopt that into your new game because... Listen, I love the game visuals. I love what you guys are putting out, but my God, that character select UI is so ass.
Yes.
Because you just see, it's just like one whole page of nothing but a lot of Gokus in his different forms. Like, bro, you could have just one Goku, you select him, whether it's Goku early, mid, end, or Dragon Ball Super, and then you select that one Goku in his base form, and then you select him, and then you see all of his transformations, and then of course fusions as well. Like they don't have to be separate. Like that is going to be a pain in the ass because so many characters within the Dragon Ball universe have numerous transformations, and Goku is one of them.
Yeah, I'm looking through the roster right now, and I'm shocked. You know how many base Gokus there are?
A lot.
4. There's Super Saiyan 1 through 3. There's Z, mid, and end. When they say end, that's like the end of the Tournament of Power, which makes sense. Man, they have Super Saiyan God Goku, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku. Then for base Vegeta, it's just Super, Z, Scouter, Mid, and End. So 4 versions. I like how they have Great Ape. Like, they bring him back old school. Super Saiyan 1 and 2, they have some Dragon Ball Super, Z, Early, and then End. There's a lot of freaking characters. I'm astonished that they're mostly Vegeta and Goku.
Yeah.
They have Broly and Super. They have Legendary Super Saiyan Broly from both Super and the original. Super Saiyan Trunks, the future Trunks. Then they have Perfect Cell, Boo, Frieza, Jiren. Like, they have a great amount of cast. They even have characters from the Tournament of Power that are like very slightly known. The Ginyu Force. They have Kale going berserk. I'm like skimming through this Super Saiyan 1 through 3 Gotenks, which is very interesting. You don't see that much often. You either see base form or Super Saiyan 3. You even have fused Zamasu. But like each character has a very subtle difference, and there's a lot of Gokus and Vegetas. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's a very subtle difference in each one of them, especially with textures, outfits, and how they look in hair. I'd like to see how it looks, but I hope the moveset is slightly different. Because comparing Z to the end of the saga, there better be a night and day difference.
Yeah, I think what question? Have you played any of the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so then you know that with Goku, for each of Goku's, like, he has his moves that are like somewhat the same, but they're all like uniquely different.
Yes.
So like each Goku is uniquely different, and then when he transforms, then his moveset does change a little bit as he transforms. So I think it's going to be like that.
That's what I'm hoping for, at least, and I hope they don't forget that.
And I know when it comes to the Dragon Ball games, like, yeah, you're going to have some characters that are going to have like the same moves as other characters, or like the the rush moves that some of them do, like the combo rush moves. Like, yeah, it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it at all because it's better than nothing, but the idea of having a tournament of this game, it's going to be very difficult to try to balance it. Like I even said,
It's going to be rough.
I even said on my Twitter that I'm going to have to come up with a ban list because
You'll be the first TO to make a ban list.
no, I'm not going to be the first. There's going to be other, like, people who are going to run tournaments of this. They're going to have to go by a ban list due to the fact that there's going to be characters that are going to be stupidly overpowered than some of the other characters, especially the human characters. Like, imagine you have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta
And you're playing a Hercule or something.
yeah, like we already know how one-sided that match is going to go.
That's going to be beautiful. And toxic at the same time.
Or you're Yamcha and I'm Omega Shenron.
Will they have them? Yeah, most likely they will.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna have GT characters. Like, if they don't announce them before the game release,
It's going to be afterwards.
yeah, it's gonna be afterwards and most likely DLC. Because from Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3, you had GT characters. You also had the Z characters. Frieza Saga. No, you had Saiyan Saga. No, Raditz coming in. Then you had the Saiyan Saga. Of course, Saiyan Saga is the one where Raditz come in. Then you have Frieza Saga. Then you have Android Saga. Then Cell. Then Boo. And then you're done with Dragon Ball Z. And then
You go to the Super.
then you go to Super. But between these series, you also have the movies as well. So you have you're gonna have so many movie characters because there's Garlic
Capcom.
Jr. There's the big Super Namekian name that I'm forgetting his name. You also have
Which one?
the really big Namekian, the one that was
Oh,
in the film.
Slug.
Yeah, Slug. You have Slug. You also have Turtles. The
Oh, yeah, Turles, and then you
Turles from the Tree of Might. You also have Android 13. You have Cooler, Meta Cooler, Broly. You also have Janemba,
Oh, yeah.
Icon. Bro, it's going to be a lot of fucking characters.
It's a lot to process.
Yeah. But,
Because the cast says on IGN that there's going to be over 100 characters.
yeah. Because that's how it was with Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
Yeah.
You had so many characters, and then, of course, you also have GT characters. Now, for the GT characters, I'm interested in seeing how many they're going to implement, and are they going to put more of the shadow dragons in? Because I think last time we only had 3 shadow dragons.
Oh yeah,
we had
did.
we had the ice one, the fire one, and then of course Sin Shinron, which becomes Omega Shinron.
I feel like they're just simply gonna add Omega Shinron, unless they're crazy enough to add more of them, or at least some of the subpar villains. And obviously, there's Baby Vegeta.
Yeah, Baby Vegeta, Super Android 17.
Oh, Super 17, I forgot about it. There was way too many villains and stuff to process. For
But it's
most
gonna be
Dragon
good.
Ball fans, like, I respect it.
And the game modes, some of the game modes, like the one where you can create like your own fanfic.
What?
Yes, you can create. Bro, look it up. Bro, look it up. Like, yeah, you can create like your own fanfic scenario.
Oh, the what if scenarios.
Yes,
DP Sparking. I'm looking this up.
bro. Like
I do not
I
believe
feel like this game is gonna be the ultimate Dragon Ball game. That those who grew up playing Dragon Ball games, like this is gonna be the ultimate one for you to play. And honestly, I like it.
Yeah,
I like where this is all going because now you have a traditional 2D Dragon Ball game. You also have an adventure one, and now you have one that caters to those who grew up on the Budokai Tenkaichi series. So we're in a good spot. Like if you're a Dragon Ball fan, and of course you've played majority of the Dragon Ball games, we're eating good. And of course they also have a gacha game as well. So hey, we all eating good. Dragon Ball is in a very good spot right now, very good place, and yeah, it's good to be a gamer and you're also a fan of Dragon Ball because now you have so many different games that you can play and it caters to different gamers. Whether or not if you want to play the JRPG style one, do you want to play the 2D style one, do you want to play the arena one? Hell, even Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is still thriving.
I'm sorry. I read the whole what if thing. You're right. You're fucking right.
Yes.
I'm in shock right now. Like you can see every young and older person try to make their own fan fiction.
Yes.
The only cost is it's not like voiced. That's the only thing, and that's perfectly fine for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mexico is gonna go nuts with this one.
Oh yeah, you already know.
I am not ready for this. And then you're gonna have like small voice actors making their time to shine. You know what? I'm gonna throw my shot in. If you need a voice acting, I'm not the person, but I'll try. A few pesos.
You know who would be really good at doing it? Team 4-Star.
You're right.
Yes.
They have an opportunity.
Team 4-Star has an opportunity to make some really good content with this game.
The ball is in their favor.
Yes.
The ball's in their court. They rephrase that. But yeah, oh my God, I just realized that.
Yes, like when I read and saw that, I was like, oh, this is gonna open the door to so many opportunities.
I'm
with this
scared
game.
to see what kind of formats people are going to do because they're either really straightforward, really degenerative, or straight up just like comedic.
Oh yeah.
Like Hercule being Super Saiyan. Or you're just going to see like Super Saiyan 100 again. Mm-hmm. You remember those old pictures on of Goku and such, randomly looking more demonic than he does of Super Saiyan?
Yes, the Super Saiyan 5, Super Saiyan 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, all the way to fucking 20.
I'm glad they didn't go that far. Like, thank God. That would have been toxic.
Oh man, if you know, you know. Like if you remember back at school when you had all these theories of Goku transforming to all these different Super Saiyan levels, like 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up until 20, and then it just got even more ridiculous.
Just, like with long ass hair that
Bro.
that fits a whole page. I'm glad I'm not the only one that remembers this. Early 2000s was just one hell of a trip.
Oh yeah, it definitely was.
And if you're too young, you could always look it up. And you could just see all the color pencil artwork and such.
Hey, I was one of them. I was one of those guys that would just print out the pictures of Dragon Ball characters, Dragon Ball Z characters, and then I'll give me some color pencils and some color pens and just like color it in and whatnot, bro. My shit used to look so dope back in school.
Good times. Man, I miss 2000s. But Sparking Zero definitely has that potential.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see how it does as a game. Competitive, I don't see it well.
Yeah.
It's going to look like a bloody mess, but it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
I'd rather just do CPU battles.
Yeah. And of course, there's also going to be online battles, but I already know how that's going to go. People are going to pick fusion characters or overpowered characters, or they're going to start off the round Great Ape.
Yeah.
I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. great aim or they're picking some overpowered ass character. You're never gonna see someone when you're playing online, when you're playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, you're never gonna see them play like a normal average character. No, they're gonna pick someone fucking overpowered as fuck.
It's like watching those videos of Dragon Ball Xenoverse where people either do their custom characters or they do a really broken one.
Yeah.
And then I see people outplaying with Hercule, which is even funnier. I doubt you can outplay with Hercule, but if you can prove me wrong, respect. Because watching Hercule play is the funniest thing because he can reflect beams, but he just uses Majin Buu as like a JoJo stand, and that shit's funny. And it doesn't do much damage. They're making it as real as possible. They didn't even give him a jetpack this time.
Yeah.
It was like, good luck. It's like, you're going to be in the ground, watch everyone fly. I'm enjoying this already.
Yeah, that's why I said I cannot wait for this game to come out. And I know a lot of people. Listen, I already know a lot of people. When Dragon Ball Sparking Zero come out, they're gonna call off work. They're canceling all their plans. They're not gonna do nothing. They're just gonna play the hell out of this game because this is the one game, especially if you grew up, as I said, if you grew up playing Dragon Ball Budokai or Budokai Tenkaichi, this is the game for us. This is a love letter to us. So we're going to enjoy the living hell out of this game and just play it for hours. And I already know this game is going to be supported with, additional content, additional characters and whatnot. As I said, if GT characters don't get announced now before the game is released, they're most likely DLC.
Yeah, agreed.
Most likely DLC.
Probably 100 more DLC.
Or they'll just release it in packs.
We got to see Dragon Ball characters next.
Yeah.
Even though they're not as strong, it's just going to be interesting to see.
There's this one Dragon Ball character. If you played Dragon Ball Budokai, I think it was the 2 or 3, or one or both of them. It was the Dragon Ball character named Arale, which was like
that's Akira Toriyama's project.
Yeah, that was a grappler, and she was annoying as fuck.
Yeah, she's an android that's as strong as Goku, which is hilarious. Canonically as strong.
Yeah, bro. If you know what I'm talking about, like Arale was annoying as shit. I hated playing against that character, and I didn't even. Bro, I did not even go close range against this character. Anytime I had Budokai Tenkaichi 3 and I'm just going through the waves of just unlocking players, once it came down to her, I'm just like, no, I am going to cheese the living shit out of you because you are broken as hell.
So beforehand,
and unfair.
This quick question.
Go for it.
Did Tenkaichi 3 play differently than 2? It played similar.
Yeah, they played similar.
The only difference was the story mode where 2 was like a board game. Mm-hmm. Where like you go through certain parts and patches and such, and fighting all the side characters. Then they got rid of that and they just have every character fly.
Yeah, Budokai Tenkaichi 2 and 3, they're almost very identical, but like the gameplay is still the same. But I think 3 definitely added some new mechanics.
Yeah.
To where the game is a lot more fluid and enjoyable as well. Bro, I wish I had my PS2 right here with both games so that way I could show you on screen like, all right, here's the differences between the two and whatnot. But like I would say both had a large size character roster, but I think 3 was the one where pretty much had almost everybody in the Dragon Ball universe. Literally almost everybody.
Oh yeah.
But What else? I'm still thinking.
There's a lot to process, but I'm sure we're gonna break it down.
Yeah. Beam clashes are back.
Oh hell yeah!
Yes, beam clashes are back.
You're just gonna see a bunch of broken joysticks later on.
Well, they did it differently this time. I think it's you have to like mash square on the PlayStation controller. I think you have to like mash square or whatnot. They did it differently to where you're not having to spin the joysticks because
damn, that ruins the fun.
It does.
That ruins the fun, and that ruins your thumbs and your palms and everything else. Like,
oh yeah,
you could have got calluses in the center of your palms just from doing it for so long.
Oh yeah, like I ain't going front. I destroyed a couple of PS2 controllers in my time with Dragon Ball when doing those beam.
You just see the joystick slightly broken. You already knew what game they were playing.
Yeah.
If you see like that slight little tear going on.
Yeah, or you just see the joystick just like it's just drifting.
It's like help.
Yes.
Your joystick is literally crying for help.
Oh, definitely.
Back then when controllers were cheaper.
There's also a new mechanic. grab clashes where if both players
Oh,
grab,
like literally.
yeah, that's new. Like there's just I like where this is going, and the more I see with this game, the more hyped and excited I am. And Sean Wolf, hey, shout out, what's up? He says in the chat, Tenkaichi 3 smooths out the gameplay and with more counter and teach overs or tech overs over Tenkaichi 2. Okay.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the possibilities are endless of what they're going to do.
Oh yeah.
We still have more to find out until October 11th.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to pick some stuff back up.
And also shout out to the gamers, the fans
Yes.
that have, I wouldn't say they bullied the developers, but we requested that, hey, we want offline multiplayer and we don't care if it's split screen. So they finally made a offline mode, a local multiplayer mode, but it's split screen, but the only stage is the hyperbolic time chamber.
I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, and I can understand why it's the hyperbolic time chamber, because you have so many effects and visuals that's going on within the game that if you were to try to do it in other stages, you might encounter some frame drops.
Yeah, that's true.
Because of how visually appealing the game looks and the environment, destructible environment. So doing it in a hyperbolic time chamber, it's easier for them to do and to manage. And I'm not going to knock them for that because I think they don't want to degrade the quality, the visual quality and the effects of the game on a multiplayer level. But I think I said in the tweet that if they could make the game have LAN support to where if two people have PS5s or Xboxes or whatnot, and it's connected via LAN, both players, player one and player two, they can still do offline multiplayer battle, but it's just on LAN. Similar to Gundam Extreme versus Maxi Boost On, because that game has split screen multiplayer, and it also has the LAN battles as well. And we've done the LAN battles here at Flint, and we've even had tournaments of it to where it'd be 2v2, and it's fun. And oddly enough, for a game like that, you want to know how much space it does take on your hard drive?
How much?
Less than 13 gigs.
That's wow.
And it has well over 60 characters.
That's still insane.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is for Sparking Zero, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, just copy and paste what Gundam Extreme versus Maxi Boost On did for your multiplayer. Give us the online, but also give us LAN support, because I think that will definitely help with local battles. So to the point where people can play against each other, but hey, we have two PS5 consoles or two Xbox consoles hooked up via LAN, and both players can play it not on split screen, but on their own monitor.
Which is good for the eyes too.
Yeah, and of course, you have like a third person as like the person that's going to spectate the match. So that way they can watch the match and watch from different players' perspectives. I think that will definitely work, especially for local tournaments as well. Granted, yeah, it's going to require additional resources, but I would say that would be the most effective way of doing local multiplayer. That's just my opinion on that.
Holy smokes. I'm looking forward for Sparking Zero. I sound like a broken record.
Yeah.
It could be the congestion. It could just be me more enthusiastic. But also, shouts out to Akira Toriyama. Let's not forget the GOAT who made Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Shout out to Akira Toriyama for giving us this universe. And I'm sure we're going to see, his work is going to live on.
Definitely. It definitely will. Especially Sparking Zero coming up. It's a game that's going to last for years, I'd say.
Yeah.
I give it a few years for its life cycle, but still. It's still going to be one of those playable games because of the what-if scenarios.
Yep, the what-if scenarios. And also, of course, even Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is still going on. Still going strong.
Yeah, that's still going on. Like, I see a lot of the content creation and such. Yeah, 15 to 16 years.
Yeah, because you also had other Dragon Ball games that tried to replicate Budokai
There's a
Tenkaichi
whole
3.
list of Dragon Ball games that try to do that.
No, it's not a whole list.
It's a small, like,
Yeah, it was Raging Blast was actually good.
oh, I forgot about that one.
Dragon Ball Raging Blast was actually good and solid, but it wasn't a Budokai Tenkaichi. Then there was that god awful mess called Ultimate Tenkaichi, which
Yes.
was terrible, terrible. One of the worst Dragon Ball Tenkaichi games ever made. But Raging Blast 2, it wasn't it, but it was like almost the closest thing that we could try to get to a Budokai, Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And then of course Xenoverse came out, and again,
It was the closest thing we could get.
closest thing, but it wasn't it. And now with Sparking Zero, this is it. This is the one true sequel. And I loved how the reveal of the new Dragon Ball game, where they showed Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and then you see a new up-to-date Goku transforms to Super Saiyan Blue, and that was the trailer. Like, that was a teaser.
Yeah.
I love that because, one, you're paying homage to the people that grew up playing Budokai Tenkaichi.
With the original TV, too, the fathead.
Yes. And now we're going to get something. Now we're getting the true sequel to it. So it's like, this is a love letter to us, and thank you is all I'm going to say.
Hell yeah. One game Bandai has not fucked up on.
All right.
Sometimes you just got to shout out to Bandai Namco.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Sometimes, not all the time. Because Kakarot wasn't a bad game, I'd say. Like, looking at the gameplay wise,
Yeah.
story wise, you see the story.
Dragon Ball,
building
Dragon Ball's
direction.
Kakarot was not a bad game. I would say it definitely catered more towards the RPG route.
Yeah.
Which is why, earlier in the,
It is a good homage game, I would say that.
yeah, because as I said earlier in the podcast, that there's different genres. It's a Dragon Ball game, but it's in a different genre, and it caters to
Yeah.
that specific genre. Like, if you want a 2D Dragon Ball fighting game, Dragon Ball Fighter Z is your game to go. If you want an arena style, then you have your Xenoverse, and now upcoming Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And if you want the RPG, you have Kakarot. So, and if you like gacha games, you have the Dokkan Battle.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so hey, they're catering to different niches, and I think they also had one that was like maybe like a survival horror. I think they tried to go after
Oh, the Breakers.
the Dead by Daylight version.
Where, like, you have to collect all this stuff and run away from one person. It was a 4v1.
Yeah,
It looks terrifying for some people. Then some people had a fun blast with it.
yeah,
I couldn't get into it. I just didn't know if it was worth it or not. Nobody gave me a fair answer. But watching the content's hilarious, though.
yeah.
Especially people freaking out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Different genres that cater to different gamers, and it's just under the Dragon Ball umbrella. So, hey, Dragon Ball fans, we're eating good.
Yeah, we are.
We're eating very good. Our next topic, and I know this is a topic that you're excited for, Gears of War E-Day.
Where do I begin?
I'm gonna let you take the mic on that one.
So, I mean, if you haven't seen it, this is a spoiler. You have rights to mute it for at least 5-10 minutes, since I'll be brief about it. If not, it's on you for listening to me anyways in my beautiful raspy voice. But I love how the trailer starts. Within the first few seconds, you see Marcus Phoenix at his prime fighting Locust. You just see one of the basic grunts, and you see him being defeated. You're wondering, when this happens, what's going on? And why does it look like he's about to be defeated? I thought it was some, like, fan-made edit and such, and I was going to get pissed off. But when my girlfriend Zoe told me it was real, I'm just like, shit. I'm going to have to get serious, and it never came. Because you just see, like, you don't see a gameplay trailer. You see an authentic cinematic trailer as they originally have done it in multiple games. From 4, 5, and now E-Day. E-Day is the emergence day where locusts actually rise up. But I realized it was real and more in the past when after you see Marcus Phoenix killing the grunt, you see Dom saving him as he's about to die. I cried for 3 to 5 minutes, mainly because Dom is one of my favorite characters in gaming history. I can go on to spoiling the game, but if you haven't played it, just look at like Gears of War Dom, and like you'll understand his voice lines and such. And also shout out to Carlos Ferro, the voice actor for him. That game, I'm hoping I have a lot of high expectations for it. I don't have expectations for many games, but this is one of the highest I have, mainly because of the simplistic multiplayer, the octo-directional movement where you go back, forward, left, right, and you're doing the roadie run and roll. And you're gonna see, yeah, I don't think you'll see a Carmine in this one, or you're gonna see like a great Carmine, because they always have an alphabetical order for the Carmines. The last one was Gary, but the one game mode I've always loved since I've played with my cousins since I was younger is called Horde. Horde is one of my favorite gameplay modes of all time, where it's a PvE, obviously, but you have rounds and each multiplier bonuses increase, so your higher probability of death is high. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the game. I'm not sure how they're going to execute it, but I hope that story mode is beautiful, because nobody talks about Emergence Day unless it's in the actual books, which I still have yet to read. That trailer hyped me up so hard. I saw the Doom trailer, but the Gears of War one hyped me up because I've always been an Xbox fan since I was young. I've played 1 with my cousin. I've learned how to play multiplayer with 2 with another older cousin I had. 3 I played on my own. 4 and 5. I was 50-50 with it, but I did mostly multiplayer. I never bothered with the story. But I think before Emergence Days goes back, I will gladly do a stream where I'll gladly go over the story, because there's a lot of potential of what may happen with a prequel. Prequel means they're bringing it back to the basics, maybe most likely to weapons and such, because they didn't introduce the Retro Lancer back then until 3 or 4. And then you're going to see most likely characters like Ty that previously had an incident. You're going to see Baird younger. You're going to see Dizzy. There's a lot of cast you're going to see bringing back. But the character you most likely won't see is Cole, because Cole joined COGS a little bit later, or you're going to see him in his early phases after his football run, or they called it another thing. The Summer Games Fest was mid. I will agree with that. Not many trailers got me hyped, but the Xbox trailers did definitely get me hyped. So we'll go off topic afterwards, because Gears of War, I'm excited for. I don't know when it's coming out. I hope they give it a good year or two to process, render, and if you can give me a beta, I'll gladly appreciate it. But Doom, please tell me you saw the Doom trailer.
I have saw the Doom trailer, and I was like, oh, more Doom. Okay, nothing wrong with that, but it's a prequel as well.
Eternal came out 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's shocking that they're making a game back quickly.
I'm not knocking it.
I'm not either.
I'm not knocking it. The more the better, because I'll say it like this: the more good games, the better. I don't mind them.
It's not overwhelming where you see a new game every year, like Call of Duty remastering.
Yeah, I completely checked out of Call of Duty, except this one, the latest one, which we'll talk about.
We'll talk about.
Yeah, but with Doom, that is day one. Day one.
I agree. Doom is one of the only games I pre-order blindly and I play it, because Doom 2016 I played first before I played Eternal. Maybe I got it like a few years after, before Eternal, so I know the story mode, or at least understand the lore, because I had a buddy of mine who broke down the lore, and it's super, super tedious. But seeing Doom Dark Ages, this looks like a prequel as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like a very badass metal trailer.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing gameplay plus cinematics.
Yep.
I just love how Doom Guy looks with a freaking cape. Like, I never imagined him with a cape on.
Yeah.
And you're seeing also half the weapons are super based. Like, you see a shield with a chainsaw that you can throw like Captain America.
Yeah.
And you have a machine gun using skulls as ammunition. That is a lot to process for most people. But you realize Doom is one of those metal games.
Yeah.
By metal, I mean it is hard as fuck to play and also the gameplay.
Mm-hmm. And you already know when it comes to the platforming aspect, Doom is really good at that as well.
They got better.
Yeah, they got really better. Yeah, they got better at it.
Because if you compare Doom 2016 to Doom Eternal, it's a huge 9-day difference.
Yes.
Where they focus heavily on the platforming.
Yes, and I have a feeling that it's going to be even better with Dark Ages, so I'm here for it. Day one.
Also, the parry mechanic.
Yes.
They have a friggin' parry mechanic. That's a lot to process. That's a lot. Like, that changes the game completely. Like, you have to get good if you parry.
Yeah.
Like, smack a bitch the next week with a shield.
Yeah. More good games, the better. That's all I gotta say.
Plus the dragon. The dragon riding mechanic. Like, what the hell?
I know.
That has to
I'm
be
not
for
knocking it.
That has to be for a level of 2, and that's okay.
Yeah. As soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, day one.
Day one.
Day one. No, I have no questions. Day one. I like what I see. I see what I like.
Did they say when it's coming out? I forgot.
I don't know either. We're gonna have to find that out. But my friend, let me go ahead and look that up right now.
Yeah, we're just gonna cheat on purpose. Don't mind us. I don't think they announced it yet. But those designs.
Doom, the Dark Ages, 2025.
Ooh.
Next year.
Next year. It's gonna be Xbox, PC, and PS5 too. Let's fucking go. Everyone can play it.
Yep.
The dumb question is, I wonder if they're gonna have a multiplayer. I don't think they will, because the last one was kind of iffy.
Yeah, it wasn't it. I think when it comes to the multiplayer for Doom, I think people are just like, nah. I mean, it's appreciated, but nah. If anything, a good single player is all we need.
Yeah, the one thing I'm glad they kept still is the super shotgun.
Yes.
And I'm looking at the details. They even gave him a sword. Because the Crucible was last used in Eternal, but this is, I can't tell if it's a prequel or a sequel. That's the weird part.
I think Dark Ages is definitely a prequel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a prequel.
Because that armor looks more metallic. That's what I'm trying to figure out. But I feel like they're going to have a multiplayer. And they're bound to have one thing because they like to keep online things relevant. And I hope they don't do a battle pass.
That's true.
Battle passes are really fucking dumb. They did it for the Eternal, but I don't think many people followed it.
No.
Mainly because it's a lot of grinding. You're playing the same levels over and over again. And I know some people enjoy it. Then there are people that play like Ultra Nightmare mode where you die once and you're dead. And you have to restart the whole game again.
Yeah, because, there are tryhards that are like that.
I've watched gameplay of this where somebody completed it with just like, they had to mod a pistol in there with the weakest damage for enjoyment. Like, I cannot enjoy myself playing like that type of level. I will lose my goddamn mind if that happens.
Hey, we have some crazy people out there.
Yes, we do, and I respect those. I've only done Nightmare mode. I cannot do Ultra Nightmare mode. I will never put myself through that situation.
Neither can I.
Most likely, I won't stream Nightmare mode on the on Dark Ages. I'll probably go to the third hardest, or the lowest. Not easy, medium. Because like weak, we're gonna die, or some other. They named it so funny.
Yeah, because you want at least a good challenge, so that way you get a really good feeling out of the game. So.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah. Because I don't think there's gonna be a lot of fun and enjoyment if you just take the easiest route and you just breeze through everything without any difficulty. I don't think that's fun.
If you're that type of player, we won't judge. You're still a gamer in our eyes. A weak one. I'm teasing.
There's easy, and then of course there's game journalist mode.
The game journalist mode where they never played a game.
Yeah. They have severe skill issues.
They have severe skill issues, and they put it in an article, but they try to give negative reviews, and then it just backfires.
Yeah.
It's easy as pie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Our next topic is X Defiant almost a month later, and I can take the reins on this one. And for those that have not seen my take on X Defiant, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's uploaded. I gave you guys, I've given my thoughts of the game, 2 weeks later. So this game has been out for almost a month, or I think it's a month. I don't know. But I've been playing it a lot, and I enjoy the game. It's fun. And what's different and unique about it is the fact that, there is no skill-based matchmaking to where you're not going to be paired up with people who are sweatier than you. Like, if you play sweaty, okay, we're going to put you in the lobby with a bunch of other sweaty people. No. I think this game is mostly prioritizing connection. Very similar to how it was back in the Call of Duty days, where you would get the most kills and the most wins if you had the better connection. The better connection usually wins. So Same rules apply for X Defiant. Weapon grinding is long. They need to definitely do some changes with the weapon grinding because it is a fucking chore. Hence why every weekend they always do double XP for weapon grinding. But it's like, bro, I'm not even seeing it. And I would play maybe what, 1 or 2 games, and I don't even get, to unlock an actual weapon. Usually in most matches, I do fairly okay. I can hold my own. Sometimes I'm the one carrying my team because everybody's trash, and I'm the one running around bunny hopping and shit and just, getting kills. Or some games I just do complete ass because I'm not completely fully warmed up. But if you're one of the people that grew up with Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty 4, Black Ops 1 and 2, then you're going to feel right at home with this game. It's fairly quick. Finding matches is really quick. You can select what map you want to play on. There's map voting. There's also abilities, like every class has like an ability that they all use. None of them are, I would say, is broken, but I would say some of them have better, are good for situational purposes. The game mode I mostly play is domination, so I usually try to find like what are the best choke points where I can get people at and whatnot, and end up getting the most kills, the most wins and whatnot. It's a fun game. I enjoy it. I enjoy the competitive aspect of it, and it's a free to play game, so you're really not losing much. Yes, there is a battle pass, and there are no pay to win weapons. So mostly the battle pass is just mostly just cosmetic stuff, which I don't care for, honestly. But overall, it's a solid game. I'm enjoying it, and if you're looking for a shooter, first-person shooter to, play and have a good time, then this would be the one I would recommend.
Ooh. Does look like an interesting game to play, but I don't think it's my type.
Yeah. And our last topic is Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
I'm on the website as well, just to give quick intel, if anything. But it looks like it has a lot of potential for a game that's 300 gigabytes.
No, the whole 300 gigabyte thing, that's not just Black Ops 6, but that's like a bunch of other Call of Duty games all together in one.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, it's Modern Warfare 3, and it's also the previous Modern Warfare, Warzone. I think it's just, yeah, we would have to see what does the 300 entails, because I think it's Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, because those games take up.
Warzone does take space.
Yeah, it and of course gets updates like almost weekly.
That is true.
So if you're a Call of Duty gamer, you already know you're gonna need a really, really, really big hard drive to play these games. But for this one, Black Ops 6, I mean, I like Black Ops a lot better than the Modern Warfare ones, story-wise, of course, because Black Ops usually tell really good stories. They didn't do one for Black Ops 4, which was underwhelming.
Very bland.
No, they didn't have a story mode for
I know that is bland as hell for a game just to go, hey, you're in multiplayer and playing Blackout.
Yeah, that was their first attempt at battle royale, but it didn't. It was successful, but long term it wasn't successful due to the fact that you have to pay to play this battle royale when other battle royales are free to play. Like Fortnite, H1Z1, PUBG. Yeah, those were free to play. And then after Blackout, that's when we end up getting Warzone. And that was their free to play one. And then that catapulted them to the top. But Blackout was completely unique and different. And I remember playing it too. And it was fun. It was fun for the time being. But Black Ops, I like Black Ops. The story modes are always very good to get into. Very good to get into.
So this is a real question I have for you. Mm-hmm. Modern Warfare or Black Ops? Which one would you prefer most?
Honestly, I would prefer Black Ops.
I'm the same. It feels more interactive with the gameplay and then the story mode as well.
Yeah, because I would say they do a lot more effort in the storytelling for Black Ops versus
Modern Warfare,
like Modern Warfare or whatnot. I mean, Modern Warfare is nice, but it's like Black Ops is like it hits different.
especially 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Those story modes hit.
yeah, it really did. And of course, the characters are very memorable as well. And of course, the zombies are better with Black Ops than it is with Modern Warfare. I'm sorry, but it is. That's the truth.
Yeah, so I'm reading through it, and I'm very impressed so far. They're offering 16 brand new maps and multiplayer on day one, including 12 6v6 games, 4 small size strike maps, 2v2s, or face off 6v6 matches. It's very intense, actually, for like an early on. Then they talk about the intelligent movement, which is sprinting, mantling, crouch assist, allowing you to focus on achieving incredible and complex maneuvers.
Yeah, because
Dolphin diving was like one of the classic movements.
I remember.
Then they have the round-based zombies, and fan favorite mode where the player will take down hordes of the undead. Expect 2 brand new maps that launch and an impressive number of secrets to discover. And then they have like details in the campaign where they bring back a specific character. If you remember Frank Woods,
Yes, iconic.
I guess there's going to be like it's a rogue element, is what they're claiming to be, where Frank Woods talks about his past and his current and present state, which is him being in the CIA in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy. And I guess the new character is going to be Troy Marshall. I'm just quickly skimming through this so we can process this, but there's going to be different missions. It's going to be like a one man on a mission by himself. And then they're showing some of the maps, like the manor, multiplayer, more detailed briefing. They are mentioning once again Omni movement.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted to talk about because
Go on.
when they showed off Omni movement, where you can, sprint to the left, to the right, and back and whatnot, I will give Call of Duty the credit that that they're doing a lot for when it comes to first person shooters. They tend to do things a little innovative. Like if you remember back in the Modern Warfare 2 era, for the PS3, Xbox 360 era, if you remember that era, and you remember how successful that was and how fun and popular that game was, then slowly after you started seeing a lot of other shooter games adopt their strategy, adopt their gameplay and style and whatnot. And then they would have a little bit of success, but it didn't carry over for long term because it's like you're trying to be like Call of Duty instead of trying to be something uniquely different that offers a different experience. That's when Battlefield started to gain their rise in attention because they were completely different from Call of Duty. They were not trying to go the same route as them, but do something a lot different. But when it comes to Call of Duty, like to do something like this, and then of course to make movement a very important thing, I'm gonna give them credit for that. I got to give them kudos for that. And with this Omni movement thing, to where you can even, jump to the left, jump to the right, like dive to the left, dive to the right, dive forward, and now you can also dive backward.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, multiplayer is gonna be really, really fun. And I would say that would be the one reason why I would get the game. I want to try out this Omni movement, and I already know there's gonna be a beta of it, and I'm gonna play it anyway. I'm gonna find a way to get into the beta because that's what I do. But the story mode, I do want to play the story mode because when it comes to Call of Duty's story mode, I think Black Ops does it better.
They are talking about death animations as well, which is very impressive. Like the example that it has is now it can be determined, for example, if an enemy was shot in the left or right leg and play a bespoke death animation related to the shot, or if an operator takes a high caliber sniper round to the right arm as they're sprinting, that appendage will snap back and spin them around as the weight of the body carries forward as they collapse to the ground. Like they're making it intense for death animations now. Instead of you just plop into the ground and there's death.
Right.
There is world connectivity now. It's another feature they're mentioning it. The concept of players' movement and reactions are connected to the in-game world in a dynamic way based on the player's choices. This overreacting idea or overarching idea of keeping the player in a flow state, minimizing the jarring movements between different animations. For example, if you take one step forward and you have an example feature known as corner slicing, as you round a corner you go through a doorway, your weapon dynamically rotates to that same direction. Since this is dynamic, the rotation becomes more dramatic if you're slowly sneaking through, clearing a room, where it won't affect you at all. If you're barreling full speed around the same corner, wow, this doesn't affect your gameplay or purely a visual adjustment. But when real world operators were observed clearing a building, that's actually pretty cool. Like, you're just following the movement with your gun going to the side too. That's very adaptive. Like, they're really focused on movement in this gameplay.
Yeah, and I like what I like what it was. I like what was being shown, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. I want to try it out for myself. I want to do some experimenting and see how it is. And I already know how sweaty Call of Duty is, so by the time I have too much of the game, I'll be like, all right, I'm going back to X Defiant. But the movement is definitely something that really piqued my interest because I've always wondered, like, in shooting games, like, especially the way how you move, how come, like, some shooting games, you have the option of, like, going back or at sometimes, like, you know how you're, like, when you're in pro
You're leaning back and yeah.
and you can go like this and whatnot. Like, I always wonder like which shooting game is going to be really good at implementing that, and I think Call of Duty is going to be the one to do that. And with Black Ops 6, it's like, yeah, I think they got I think they're going to get it right with this one. But of course, it's Call of Duty, so my expectations are not super high, but I would say it's moderate because with Call of Duty, I always expect disappointment, usually a month or two after launch. So we'll see.
Yeah, they're also bringing back traditional Call of Duty Prestige as well. That's actually pretty neat.
That's good.
Yeah, you don't hear that much often. Then the heads-up display looks very simple too, where like your ammo's on the bottom right, and then on the top left is going to be your map, and then you mainly focus on the map or the game you're in.
I just wonder if they're going to keep skill-based matchmaking in their multiplayer games, because if they were to get rid of skill-based matchmaking, now you're giving X Defiant a run for their money. Even though both games are differently unique, but I think X Defiant really caters to the people who just want to just have a nice, fun time playing a multiplayer shooter, first-person shooter, without having to go into lobbies of tryhards and sweats that like to just bunny hop around, drop shot, and whatnot. Like, if you've been in those lobbies before, then you know exactly what I mean. It's not a fun experience, and you're just like, bro, I just want to have a couple of games. I do good, I do well, and that's it. I don't have to resort to cheap tactics like get 2 claymores, put them near a door, and just camp this one corner. I've done it. It works for me. It pisses people off. I probably get some hate messages for it, but it's worth it at the end of the day. And overall, I just hate playing that way because it just gets boring over a while.
It does. It just feels like stale bread. The voice comms are funny.
Yes.
But the gameplay is eternal, and that's what determines how you stick with a game or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hearing hate comments is always funny.
Oh, it definitely is.
Oh my god, in-game voicing is going to be much more fun again. I mean, Modern Warfare 3, you had like the old school era, but now we're seeing new gens being creative.
Yeah.
Or new generations of players.
Yeah.
Ooh, just pop my shoulders.
But overall, I'm very interested in Black Ops 6. Can't wait to get my hands on the beta and see how everything just feels.
Yeah, I'd like to see it too.
And just, let y'all know my thoughts on it. But overall, I would say, as I said, 2024 has been a really good year for gaming. Really good year, and I hope, it continues. This trend continues to keep going forward where we're getting really good quality games that people are getting hyped and excited for, and developers, listen to, community feedback, and hey, you give us a good game, we'll make you successful.
Amen to that.
Nothing wrong with that. Just give us a good game and we'll make you successful. Just don't do things where, hey, you have your own vision and creative idea, and you don't want to listen, and you don't want to listen to the community. Because at the end of the day, you need their financial support for you to continue to keep doing what you're doing as a developer. If not, then, well, you deserve your own failure because you don't want to acknowledge your community. You think that the community is toxic or it's just a bunch of raging fans. But what people fail to realize is that people who are fans of these games, we're very passionate about it because we care about, the integrity of the game. And when you disrespect gamers by not catering to the integrity of the game, then all right, then well, we're not going to be here very long, and it sucks, and we'll just go somewhere else. And guess what? You fail, you go out of business, studio gets closed down, and yeah, it sucks. But I always say, there's a saying like, cater to your gamers, cater to your consumers, because at the end of the day, they're going to be the ones where you're going to need that money from. That's all I got to say.
Oh, wrong one.
My bad.
Yeah, a lot of games with good potential. Looking forward for Capcom trying to fix their shit with their pricings.
Yeah, I think they're going to get...
Dragon Ball.
They're going to get it right. Dragon Ball is going to be really good. I can't wait for it.
E-Day, I'm hyped for it. And even Doom, there's a lot of shit to process. And I'm glad we made it at a reasonable, range of our enthusiasm and such. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm under the weather, not for you guys. I'm ready.
Absolutely. Just go out there and play some games, y'all.
Hell yeah.
Go out there, play some games, enjoy yourself. Finish that backlog that you got, because Lord knows I got to do the same for mine.
Same. I have a micro backlog going on. After CEO, I'm taking a break from fighting games to catch up.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing the same thing, too. I think it wasn't last Friday that passed, but the other Friday before, I was telling Foreface that, after CEO, I'm just going on a single-player hiatus. I'm just going to be playing nothing but single-player games, just trying to catch up on my backlog, because I do want to play Stellar Blade. I do want to play Dragon Dogma 2.
I'm forced to play Baldur's Gate against my will. Send help.
And then in September, you have Warhammer Space Marine 2 dropping. I'm playing that day one. The Elden Ring DLC literally comes out this week. Does it?
Oh, yeah.
Today is 16th.
Today is the...
Because it comes out on the 21st.
Yeah, today's the 16th.
Does
so
it come out this week?
So it comes out Friday.
Shit, comes out Friday. You're not going to run tournaments that Friday. Fuck.
Unless you hide in a corner.
Nah, I'll be here. Because it'll be the last Friday before we go to CEO. So next Sunday, there won't be a podcast episode, when that'll be episode 99. So I would say episode 99 is going to be our CEO recap. And then after that is our episode 100.
Yeah, we got to plan something for that. I'm sure we have ideas.
Yeah. We got to get AJ back on for at least for episode 100.
So help me, I'll take him hostage.
But yeah, go play games.
Yes, game on.
And try other genres. Finish that backlog. Try to, at the very least.
Expand your horizons is probably the word I'd like to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
I already downloaded 3 games I'm planning on trying, like Celeste, Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm playing Dead by Daylight again because I got talked into it as well. Send help.
But yeah, as I said before, this year is a good year for gaming. So go out there, play some games, enjoy them, have fun with them. If you can get them for cheap, hey, go get them for cheap. But I would say some of these quality games are worth the price that it's currently at. But if you can get it cheap, then hey, go for it, get it cheap. Like I know Rise of the Ronin, if you want to get it brand new, I do recommend it because it's a good game. Dragon Dogma 2 is a good game. Stellar Blade, good game. Persona 3 Reload, good game. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, good game. And I think that game's actually $50 now, brand new. So
Helldivers 2.
Helldivers 2, that's $40. That is a good game. Go ahead and cop that, get that, play that.
Yeah, there's a whole list of games going on.
Tekken 8 is a good game.
Yeah.
Under Night In Birth 2 is a good game.
Yeah.
Street Fighter just revealed Bison.
Oh my God.
So, that's going to be fun.
Then KOF with a new update and possibly a patchwork going on, or balance patch.
Yep. Mortal Kombat is Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Homelander just looks like buns, but that's not important. But if you appreciate the game, power to you.
Exactly. But yeah, overall, and then of course, Strive, Slayer just came out.
Questionable game.
Questionable.
I'm teasing. It's a good game. They just have some work to do because if you're doing 70% robbing someone after 5 interactions, is it on me for blocking and trying? Yes. Fuck Slayer. Anyway, that's my little gripe. I had to let it out once every while, but also for those that are watching that are parental figures, happy Father's Day as well. You are all appreciated. Fathers, mothers had to take that fatherly step. Y'all are definitely appreciated and loved. Just want to shout that out.
Absolutely. Shout out to all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day. Enjoy your day to the fullest. And with that being said, this has been episode 98. Episode 98 of the Software Gamers Podcast. We thank you all for watching and tuning in.
Thank you.
And with that being said, we'll catch y'all on the next one, and that'll be our CEO recap.
Oh, hell yeah.
Episode 99. So no episode next week or the week after. So hopefully
2 to 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks.
Hopefully by July we do episode 99.
Let's hope.
And yeah, we'll continue from there. And same thing with the guests. Don't worry, we're gonna have guests back on beginning in July. It's just we're doing things a little bit slowly.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed the gaming topics that we're bringing.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done gaming topics like this frequently.
Mm-hmm. And I do also want to get before I completely close out, I do want to plan a Destiny 2 episode, especially for those that have played the Final Shape. So Hunter, AJ, a boy, I'm inviting y'all on the podcast because I know y'all three are Destiny heads, and all of y'all have played the Final Shape. Destiny, I'm a boy. I spoke to you recently about it. You enjoyed it. AJ, you said you enjoyed it. Hunter, I want to get your thoughts on it. So future episode, sometime maybe next month, we get y'all in for a Destiny episode, and I can't wait for it. So with that being said, y'all have a good one. Y'all stay classy. We'll catch y'all